Your product page may be the difference between a customer adding to cart or leaving your store. If you find the default PrestaShop product page design simple, or you just want to create something a little bit more unique, this tutorial will show how you do that and more. Hi everyone, in this video I will show you how you can build your own custom product page, including a product image slider with cool effect, with zoomable product images, scrollable gallery, with wishlist option, with a unique product variation selector, touch-friendly quantity field, and social share. I'll also show you how you can display additional product information and reviews in a space-saving custom tab system. The video will include how to build a product description that will attract the attention of your visitors, including product videos and galleries. Below the product description, we display some related products. In terms of marketing, this is cross-selling. Finally, we offer similar products that can motivate customers to choose an even more expensive alternative, also known as upselling. And we don't forget the fact that a significant percentage of shoppers these days are coming from mobile devices. So we fine-tune the page so that they get the same experience on a small screen, such as reading additional information or writing reviews. So by the end of this tutorial you will know how to create your own product template, customize the design, and set it as the default template for all of your products. So get your food and drink ready, and let's get cracking. On your back office, go to Creative Elements, Theme Builder. Click on Add New button. Here we can give a name for our template and choose the product page type. Click on Save and Stay. Let's go ahead and edit with Creative Elements. Now once the editor is loaded, the library will open. Here you can choose from predefined designs. If you would like to build a product page very quickly, they can be a good starting point. But now we will ignore them and create everything from scratch. Since the top of our page will consist of two main parts, let's add a section with two columns. We can remove the columns gap. If we take a look on the left-hand side, you can see all of the options inside the widget panel, all to do with the product template. Grab the product images widget and pop that in the left-hand column. That's going to load the product images for us. Let's go back and put the product name inside here. Clicking on the small gear icon in the bottom left corner will take us to the product page settings. Here we can set the page layout to full width. As you can see right away, it has picked the correct width. If you want to change the current preview product you're working on, you can always do it here, and the editor will be updated automatically. Simply type in the name or reference number of your product, and you can select it from the list that appears. Press Apply, and you're done. You can hide the notification by clicking on it. Okay, let's go ahead and edit the product images. On the Style tab, set a height you prefer. Hop over to the Content tab. Here you can choose from different sliding effects. Slide is the default behavior. Here visitors can navigate by dragging, or even using the thumbnails. You have the option for the classic fade effect. Or you can go for something more extreme, like the flip. This effect gives a feeling of a card with the next product image always on the back. It's up to you which one you choose, but for now I'm going with the cover flow effect, which is eye-catching, yet discreet for me. I choose the large size for my product images. And for thumbnails, you should also choose the size that is most suitable. You can position them to any sides. I'll choose the left side for now. Going further in the additional options, we can switch arrows, set timing, autoplay, and set an overlay to open a product gallery. Choose an icon that you like, and it appears here. OK. Hop into Style tab. Adjust the width to achieve a square ratio. Go to Thumbnails. And we will remove the dark overlay color, as I show you, from the normal state. We give the hover state a light overlay with transparency. Pretty neat. And finally, set this color for the active state as well. I think this will be fine. Now make the navigation icons visible with a dark color. And if we want, we can increase their size. Let's set a light background for the Lightbox to move away from the typical dark background. If you click here, you can't open it right away, so you can't see more of the changes. We can make the elements of the interface more visible by using a slightly darker color. And choose a more intense for hover. I think it looks good. And the navigation works well too. However, we can make this overlay a little bit prettier. Add a really light background color. And a darker one for the magnifying glass. The point is to make it contrasty. A little bit of scaling. And there you go. Now it's time to move on to the right side. First, let's select the column and set the vertical alignment to middle. Jump to Advanced tab. Add a bit padding around and a little more on the left to give us some white space. Now we are going to style our product name. Here we can't set the HTML tag, since it is the most important info on the page. H1 will be perfectly fine. Hop over to the Style tab and set a larger font size. 40 pixels will be perfect. Now let's add in our product meta, and we will put that underneath our title. As the name indicates, it contains metadata, such as the product reference, which I'll instantly rename to the shorter SKU. The category is appropriate. Get rid of the brand right now. And if you want, you can add additional items to the list, such as the product number in stock. Place a colon between them. Jump to Style, add a little space between. Set a smaller font size. Choose a base text color. For the label, a dark one. And for the link, a lighter. Hop back over. We are going to grab our product price. Put that underneath the meta. We can't change the layout to inline, so it takes up less space vertically. Jump to the Style tab to do some adjustments. Set our font family, bigger font size, and the line height. The product price widget also includes additional information such as sale or unit price. But in my current example, I just need to fine-tune the tax. Okay, now it looks good. Come back over. We will grab our product rating. So if our product gets different ratings, we can let visitors see how good they are. It is worth working with a product that has a rating on it. We will show average grade. And we can display the comment numbers as well. I eliminate the icon and use a little trick to write ratings. Jump to Style, tweak the size and spacing of the stars. Set the font family for average grade. And style the comments number to your liking. I will use a gray default color and a darker for hover state. OK. Go back again and add some additional information with the short description widget. We will use the same font family, a little bigger font size, more line height, and that's pretty good. Let's go and add the next item, and that's going to be the Product Variations widget. As the name suggests, this widget includes the option to choose product variations, which can be color, size, material, or anything. You can choose from more layout options. I will stick with stack for now. Set up the same font family for the labels, and a slightly smaller size. On PrestaShop, product variations can have 3 different attribute types. So in this widget you have full control over the drop-down list styling, the radio button options, and color buttons. So in this example I'm styling the colors a bit by removing the border and padding. And I make them into a nice round shape. We can style the hover state too. And for the active state, I will choose a more simple border color. I like it this way. And as you can see, it's already functional. Okay, let's go and add the next item, and that will be the product quantity box. By default, it inserts the input field that everyone knows, but you can change it to the stacked version, which works the same way, but is freely customizable. There is also the inline version, which is probably the most touch-friendly, as it places the buttons further apart. Let's change them to plus and minus. Hop over to the Style tab. Set the width of the input field slightly larger. I'm setting the same font as elsewhere, but a little larger to make it easier to see. We can even help with the weight. I'll set a smaller padding, the idea of which is to allow more digits to fit in the field. Let's move on to the buttons. I eliminate the spacings, change the background color, and the icon color to make it a little more discreet. For the hover state I set a slightly darker one. And to fit the variations, I'll round it off. I think it looks pretty decent, and it works as it should. For the next step, which is to put the Add to Cart button here, we need to make a few more adjustments. So let's jump to the Advanced tab. Go to Custom Positioning, set the width parameter to inline, and the alignment to middle. On the Advanced tab we can add a little more space to the right and bottom. Let's go back to our widget list, and you've probably already guessed it. Grab the Add to Cart option and drop it down below the quantity. There are 3 types of behavior to choose from. The first one adds the selected product to the cart in the regular way. The second allows you to shop quickly by redirecting you immediately to the checkout page. And the third is a link to the product page, which can come in handy in a pop-up quick view. You can easily change the caption of the button It's worth choosing an icon, like the one in your shopping cart. A little fine-tuning with the spacing, and we can move on to the Style tab. Increase the font size a bit. Set a dark gray background color. And a shade darker for the hover state. I will remove the rounded corners and add a bit more padding. More on the right and left. Here you can design the disabled state, which is applied when you run out of a product. That works for me. So it's time to put it next to the quantity box. Jump to the Advanced tab, Custom Positioning, set it to inline, and the alignment to center. And don't forget to add the same distance underneath as in the quantity box. This way they are nicely placed next to each other. Okay, let's move on and add the wish list option. I'm going to put this just above the product images because I want to position it right here in the upper right corner. Let's switch over to the stacked version. Switch to Style tab and set it to a smaller size. I'll drag the primary color, which is the background color, over to transparent, and the secondary color to gray. Okay, go to Advanced tab, set to inline, and change the position to absolute. Don't worry, it hasn't disappeared, it's right here under the image, but we can easily bring this to the forefront by increasing the z-index. Alright, let's go back to custom positioning and align it to the right. If you wish, you can even drag it with your mouse. But if you want to be very precise, you can enter an exact value. Now we can jump back to Style tab and set for the hover a darker color. If you want to make it even more interactive, you can set a hover animation. I think with bounce in, it looks like a real one. And now only the social shares are missing from the top of our product page. First, let's add a heading widget, which we will use as a label. Let's type in share on. From a SEO point of view, it will be enough to use span here. I'll set the same font as before, with exactly the same appearance as the other labels. Okay, let's go and add the product share icons underneath the label. By default, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest are configured. You can't change the shape to square, but to continue the design direction, I'm going with the circle. Set the alignment to left. Jump to Style tab. Set the color to custom. The primary color should be light gray, and the secondary a darker, just like in the quantity field. Reduce the size and allow more space between them. And finally, set the hover colors. Let's see what we've created so far. If you got here, you already know how to make a custom product slider with pop-up gallery, wishlist, product variation selector, custom cart, and social sharing. Let's save our work. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to turn this setup into an alternative layout. So I'm going to grab the product images widget and drop it into the right column. I'll change the effect to slide. Set the same padding for the right column, and then delete the left one. Then I convert the product images widget to carousel and delete the height I set before. As you can see, in the blink of an eye, it's transformed into another product page that provides a truly unique experience with horizontal scrolling. Okay, I'll go back to the history and restore the previous state. Great! So let's say we are happy with the way all that looks, and we want to add some more information in. Come back to our list of widgets, and we are going to grab the option to put in our product description. Scroll down a little bit, click to edit the section, and in the layout settings, let's activate the tab section system. This is a special solution that turns columns into easily designable tabs. Click on the tab to edit it. Let's just change the name to description. You have the option to duplicate the tab you created, but for now let's add a new one that will contain additional information. Let's also add another one that will contain the product reviews. As you can see, it is very easy to add further tabs. And if you open up the navigator, you can sort or even delete them. I'll go back to the section settings to show you some more layout options. If you like, you can also turn the tabs into verticals, adjust their width, or even move them to the right. So full control over everything we want. Revert to the previous state and align the tabs to the center. As you can see, there are plenty of pointer types to choose from, but for the current design, I'll turn this off for now. Jump to Style tab. Set the font size to a larger one. For the normal state, set a light gray color. For the hover, a slightly darker. And for the active, almost black. I like them. Set the horizontal padding to 0 and use the space between parameter to make more white space. Create space below and above with vertical padding. Go to the Advanced tab and add a small margin above. This gives us even more space between product images and tabs. Click on the Description tab, and on the Advanced tab, we can add a nice entrance animation. This animation will also play when you switch tabs. Move on to the next tab and fill it with useful content. At an intersection, change the ratio to have more space on the left, and drag in the Product Features widget. As you can see, the features you set for the product will appear. Let's quickly give it a title. And we can't set h3 as HTML tag. By the way, if you want to edit the product features, you can do it right here. Open the Style tab. Set a slightly larger font size for the title, and add some spacing. We will also format the table below a bit. Since we don't have wide labels, we can reduce the width of the left column. With the line height parameter, we can increase the distance between the lines. And I'll set the font here too. I'll switch to the other column where the values are, and also set the font. Scroll down a little bit, switch back to the widgets list, and we will drag the product attachments to the right column. Change the icons to stacked, and add a title icon in the other column. H3 tag will be great here too. Jump to Style tab, and increase the font size to the same size as on the left. I make the description color a little lighter. Go to the tab settings and Style tab. I will set up a light gray background color. I think I need some more white space around the columns. So in the Advanced tab, I add a small margin around. And I do the same with the other column as well. Don't forget to set the entrance animation for this tab too. As you can see, it animates nicely when switching tabs. Okay, let's move on to the third tab, which will contain the reviews. For this we are going to use the module widget, which allows you to pull in third-party modules. And in this particular case, the default product comments module provided by PrestaShop. Within this, we will select the display footer product hook that will contain the comments. Click to Advanced tab, and add a little more white space around. We won't need it on top. Let's jump one level up to the tab settings. And don't forget to add the entrance animation here too. So we're done with that part. Let's jump back to the widget list and drag the product carousel underneath. Change the skin to custom, and I'll turn off autoplay right away. Okay. So this widget is going to contain the related accessories for our current product. In marketing terms, this is cross-selling. H2 tag will be good for this purpose. As you can see, there are many listing types to choose from. We will now select the related products. For the current product, I'll select a slightly larger image size. I scroll down a bit to get a better view, so I don't need the Add to Cart button. And I eliminate some of the badges too. For product titles, H3 tag will be okay. I don't want to change the text in the quick view, so we can move on. I change the navigation to arrows only, and we can go to the styling options. For the heading, I'll set a bigger font size, slightly bigger spacing, and the alignment to center. The product images are a little bit close together, so I'm going to adjust the distance between them. I'll align the content to the left. Set a bit bigger font size, but I reduce the boldness. I will also tweak the quick view button a bit. Change the font size, transform it into uppercase, and giving more line height. This seems to work for me. So we can't jump to the badges. I set up a small, consistent padding around it. Choose my font family and smaller font size with more weight and uppercase. For the new badges, I choose a dark background color. We can make the navigation more visible with a darker color. And you can resize it if you want. Jump to the Advanced tab and set a little spacing above the widget. Okay. Now we can duplicate this carousel and make a second one recommending products that might still be of interest to the visitor. You can edit the title here as well. We select featured products as the listing type, and then we can further refine it to display products from the same category. In effect, we can motivate the customer to buy a more expensive product, also known as upselling. Okay, let's save our work and look at the preview. Now we are ready with the process of building the product page for a desktop device. We have a stylish product viewer with a wish list and zoom function. Custom product quantity field with social sharing. We have a tab system for more detailed product information and reviews. Cross-selling and upselling product carousel. And now it's time to make it all tablet and mobile friendly. So let's switch to tablet view first. The left side is a bit jammed with images of this product, so let's open the column settings and set the width to 100%. Now go to the widget settings and change the thumbnail quantity on the left side to 5. As you can see, this has reinitialized the widget. Let's scroll underneath. Eliminate the padding on the left side. And stretch the column to full width. We can scroll down again and see what we need to change in our tab system. Switch to additional info. And as I see, we can make the specifications to full width. And the guides too. We don't need to change on the Reviews tab. And from the looks of it, we don't need to change the carousels either. Well, it's time to move to mobile optimization, which is even more important than the tablet. The product images are too big, so let's click on it. Jump to Style tab and change the height. We could show more of those thumbnails, so go back to Content tab and change the quantity to 5. It's starting to look better. Now we could reduce the distance between the images. Let's jump back to Style tab. Reduce the spacing between the main image and the thumbnails. And we should also adjust the distance between the thumbnails. So let's jump over here and change that as well. It looks pretty good. So we can move on to the product name. The font size of this should be reduced on mobile. The button has slipped down below the quantity field, so it should be moved up next to it to save some space. Reduce the padding of the button, and as I see, it has already slid right up into place. The tabs are a little spread out in mobile view, but no problem. Turn on the overflow scrolling option. This option allows us to make tabs slide horizontally on mobile. You can move it around in the editor by using the horizontal scroll wheel on your mouse, or by holding Shift and using the normal scroll wheel. We can reduce the vertical padding a bit, and the font size as well. Switch to additional info here. We can make a little more space for the specifications. So go to Advanced tab of the column and reduce the margins. In the table, we could increase the space between the labels and the values. So click here and set the padding of the label 10 pixels to the right. Go to Advanced tab of the column. Set the same margin for the guides. And align the content to the left. The reviews do not need to be changed. Let's move on to the carousels below. As you can see, a single product alone takes up all the space, but I'll show you a trick to make it more space-saving and modern. So click on the widget to fine-tune it. Go to the Advanced tab. Set custom width and configure it to 150%. This setting will actually extend the widget outside the phone. Go to Content tab and change the carousel to show 2 products. Because of the previous setting, we will now only see 1.5. Now we can align the title to the left. So go back to Style tab and set the alignment. I'm also going to resize the font to the same size as the tabs. And I also reduce the spacing. The navigation arrow here is a bit distracting, so I'll remove it by setting the size to 0. Since the widget width is set wider than mobile, this makes the whole page scrollable, as you can see. Just go to the section settings and set the overflow parameter to hidden. There you go. Now let's copy the style of this carousel and paste it on top of the other one. Click on it and set it to display 2 products here as well. Once we're done with that, let's save and take a look at our work. I like what I see, and I hope you were able to follow the steps and are happy with what you've created. Let's go back to the back office. Click on Product tab to see the templates. And finally, the moment has come to publish our finished product page. To do this, just select the template you have created and save it. As extra content, I will now show you how you can take your product page to an even higher level with an elaborate product description. For this, go to your product catalog and choose a product which you would like to improve. In my case, this headphones. Here you can see the product features that were added to the additional information tab during the build. And here are the related products for the first carousel. Okay, let's switch to the description tab and click on Edit with Creative Elements. As you can see, the editing interface is already loaded with the design we just created. And the only editable area is the product description. The difference from the previous build is that changes are only made to the current product. We can delete the current product description right away to build a new customer-friendly one. Add a section with 2 columns. Eliminate the gaps. Drag an image widget to the left. And select an image of the product. In my case, a closer photo of the speaker, as this section will focus on sound quality. Add a heading widget on the right side, which we will use as a label. Span will be great as the wrapper element. I just set the font size a bit larger, as I'm capitalizing it. Okay, let's arrange the text a bit within the column. Open Column Settings. Set the vertical align to middle. And on the Advanced tab, let's create a space on the right and left. Go back and drag a heading widget for the title. If you like, you can edit the content here as well. H3 tag will be good for this. And we can set a bigger font size. Back again and drag a text editor widget underneath. Here you can explain the current product feature. Let's style it a bit. Set the font size. And in general, 1.4 line height works well. Since I want the text to relate better to the image, I open the section settings and set a very light gray background for the section. If I hide the editor, it shows up better. Okay, now we can make the next section, which will start by duplicating the first one. But the main difference is that we reverse the order of the image and the texts. This example section will introduce an additional feature with the video on the right. By using the previous design, we can create this section much faster, as I only need to modify the descriptions associated with it. With the left side done, let's eliminate the image on the right. Go back to Widgets list and drag a video widget here. You can choose from several source types, such as YouTube, Vimeo, Dailymotion, but I'm going to go with self-hosted for now. I just placed the previously uploaded video URL here. Since I want to keep the square ratio, I set the aspect ratio to 1:1. Jump back to the Content tab, set Autoplay, mute the video, and turn on looping. I don't need player controls now. Okay. Let's scroll down a bit and add a new section. This will be narrower as it will only contain a title and subtitle. Jump to Advanced tab and add a little spacing above. Now we will reuse the title from above, so duplicate it and drag down the new instance. Do the same with the description. Scroll down a bit again and type in the new title. Let's center it. And I'm also going to change the description. Don't forget to center this one too. Go back to Widgets list and drag an image carousel underneath. In this section we'll illustrate with pictures how comfortable our product is. So let's pick the first picture. But before we go any further, I'll quickly turn off the autoplay. Okay, go back to the images and add a caption to the first one. Let's go ahead and add the next picture. And then the caption. Let's do the same with the third one. And type in the caption. Finally, add the last image to our carousel and the caption that goes with it. Okay, we can now jump to the carousel settings. I would like to show one full slide only in the view. And with center mode, we can make it so that a little bit of the previous image and a little bit of the next image are visible. We can further refine this with padding. 18% will be great. For navigation I only need the arrows. And a slower animation speed will be perfect. We can now jump to Style tab and set a little spacing between the images. Move on to caption settings. Set the typography. 16 pixels will be great, but with more weight. With line height, we can move the caption a little away from the pictures. And with a little letter spacing, we can make it even more airy. It really looks great. Now we can add our last section in the description, which will contain 2 columns. I set a smaller width and a little margin to separate it. As the last design element we will use the image box, because it contains both title and description under the image. Once the image and text are entered, we can move on to the Style tab. You can't set the image to maximum size. Give more space between the title and the image. Align the text to the left. It's a good idea to allow more space here too. We can increase the font size for the title. And fine-tuning the description. After we are ready with the styling, we can duplicate the widget and drag to the other column. And there's nothing left to do but replace the last important feature. Of course, you can place additional elements in your product description if you like, or you can variate them, but you should make sure that you use a common design language throughout. Let's take a look at the product description we have created. I think it looks great. So it's time to fine-tune it for the tablet. First of all, we can set a smaller margin on the column. And we can also reduce the font sizes a bit. The main thing is to try to reduce it by the same ratio on the different blocks of text. So it looks pretty good. Now we can copy the style to the elements below. There you go. The next section with the carousel looks good. And down here, we can also make the changes just like above. Copy it to the other widget. And you're done. Okay, let's scroll up. And we can optimize it for mobile as well. This part looks great. But here we can reverse the order of the text and the video. For this, open the section settings, jump to Advanced tab, and switch on the reverse columns for mobile. As you can see, it's now consistent. Here we can tweak the carousel a little bit. We can eliminate the paddings on the sides. So it is much cleaner. And I have some good news, because we are ready with our most elaborate product page yet. Let's save our work and see the results. So, the final product page looks like this. It has a unique product slider, product variation selector, add to cart button with custom quantity selector. We have a really detailed product description with video, image carousel, and on the bottom our customers can find accessories or other similar products. If we scroll back, we have a customized tab system with additional information, product reviews, and smooth tab switching effects. I'll scroll down a bit to show you that when a customer opens another product, like these earphones, they'll see the same design, dynamically adapted to the current product, of course. If you've followed our previous videos, you've probably seen how to create a product description of this kind, even with frequently asked questions. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll put a link to it in the description. As you can see, only one of the carousels is shown here, as I have not provided recommended products for this one. The tab system works the same way, you can post comments and so on. So that's how you build a product page that actually sells. Thanks for sticking with me, see you in the next video. Until then, go ahead and explore the possibilities on your own shop too. Have fun creating, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more tips and tutorials.